Today, we're going to be talking about punching stitch holes for leather projects. It's not glamorous, but it's necessary, like paying taxes or pretending to care about your friend's podcast. If you think making holes in leather is as exciting as watching paint dry, you're right. But stick around, because even the most mundane tasks in leatherworking require a few tricks to avoid turning your project into a disaster. So let's get into it. And I promise, the mistakes you make here won't be as permanent as your bad life choices. Let's start with sizing your stitch holes. This is where you decide if you want your stitches to whisper delicately or shout. It all depends on the project and thread you're using. For this example, I'm making a wallet, because why make anything that's not immediately practical? Right? Wallets are small, so you'll generally want a smaller stitching chisel, but just because it's small doesn't mean your holes have to be dainty. If you want your stitching to stand out, go big or go home. In my case, I'm using a 5mm stitching chisel, which is probably more suited to a heavy-duty belt than a wallet, but hey, I like a dramatic stitch. If you want a subtler look, go for something smaller, like a 3mm chisel and a 0.6mm thread. It's all about the vibe you want to create. Are you here for the finesse, or do you want your stitches to make a bold statement? Now that we've decided on how extra or subtle we want our stitches to be, it's time to create our stitch line. You could use a wing divider or a scratch awl and ruler. Pro tip: the wing divider works better around corners, but hey, if you enjoy the thrill of uneven lines and chaos, go with the scratch awl and ruler. Just make sure your stitch line is straight and equidistant from the edge, because nothing screams amateur hour like crooked stitches. For small projects like wallets, keep your stitch line about 2 to 3mm from the edge. Too close and your stitches will weaken the leather. Too far and you're just shrinking the inside of your wallet. Now comes the fun part, punching holes. Remember, once you start punching, there's no turning back, just like signing a bad lease or cutting your own bangs. First, you're going to want to lightly imprint your stitch holes on your stitch line. This step isn't just for aesthetics. It's your last chance to avoid disaster. Mistakes at this stage are permanent, and leather doesn't believe in second chances. If you mess up, you'll be staring at your mistake forever. Or, unless your dog accidentally eats your project. When you're ready to punch, grab a punch mat. It's not just there to protect your tools and surface, it's there to protect your dignity. Trust me, trying to explain why your workbench has more craters than the moon is a conversation you don't need to have. Hold your chisel like a pencil, close to the tip for stability and control. Make sure it's perfectly vertical before you strike. A tilted chisel means your holes will look like they've been plotted by someone who failed geometry. Crooked holes scream, "I tried my best," and let's be honest, no one's buying that. When striking, go for 2 to 3 medium hits instead of trying to channel your inner barbarian. Precision is key, and smashing it through in one go will likely end in tears, yours or the leather's. Leave the reckless aggression for when you're trying to pry open a jar of pickles or dealing with your tax return. Alright, and that's it for today, guys. I hope you've learned enough to avoid the most common mistakes and make your stitching look like it was done on purpose. Here's how the stitch holes turned out. Clean, even, and actually where they're supposed to be. If you've got questions or need clarification, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to keep my advice practical. For more leatherworking content, don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in quality leather goods, check out my website at puredleather.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.